What was that?
Perfect. You want to be that guy?
What up, everybody? Welcome to DC TV. My name is Brad. We got Tamp, we got Don, we got Jaime, we got Greg Chick. We got a full house this morning. It is Monday morning. It is an incredible day because the Ravens won at home for the first time. The first time in 5 home games, the Ravens finally won at home. It's been pretty rough, but it was
like during their. Did they play another team or did they play themselves?
You're wrong,
Lamar
Don.
Jackson played himself.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson played himself. He did everything. Played defense and all that.
Yep, and the Ravens still won't sign him formally.
That's right. That's right. They're still not worth a dime. But anyways, guys, looking at the futures, S&P futures are flat, Dow's flat. Everything's kind of been red and green and red and green. NASDAQ's also just slightly red. We got crude oil that's sitting at $92.29 a barrel, and looking like that's going to continue to be a thing. Looking at Bitcoin right now, though, it is now down at 19,300. Bit of a choppy weekend for Bitcoin as well, guys. How was your weekend?
Good.
It's
Good. Yeah.
I watched a ton of football this weekend. That's all I did. Sit in front of the TV.
Same.
I fixed some stuff around the house too. So, yeah, I was halfway useful. Do what?
I sorry, I did not mean to interrupt. When you said you watched a ton of football, I was like, I watched a clip of football.
Yeah,
you
an
guys
accident.
YouTube video.
Yeah, because I was gonna say you scrolled through Instagram or something and saw one.
It was ours.
No,
it was ours.
You
watched
talking about the guy.
Oh, excellent.
On the field.
Little shameless plug for Chaos Sports.
That's right. Go check us out at Chaos Sports on YouTube. It's brand new, just over a week old, and
It's already
I think
getting
it's
hits.
yeah, it's already doing. Actually, I was just telling Jaime, it was before you came on. I was telling Greg and Tamp. I put up a short for our very first short, and we got over 1,000 views on it already.
Nice.
Just put it up this morning.
It's so crazy.
It's
awesome.
unbelievable.
Yep. We're making college picks, NFL picks, and we're doing decent on that.
Yeah. Tamp's crushing it. Decent is an understatement. She's 15-2 this week.
So you're doing the fantasy football, or are these picks in terms of the games themselves without?
She's just picking them out right.
Straight up
I'm
picks.
I actually think I might get into fantasy football a little bit. I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
I was speaking to one of my in-laws, asking him, "Hey, do you do fantasy football?" He says, "No, because I'll end up not rooting for my guys for my team, my home team, the Dallas Cowboys, and end up rooting for the opposing team." So he said he was conflicted, so he wasn't participating.
Then you just don't draft anybody for your team, unless it's somebody like Lamar Jackson.
Numbers and betting definitely gets in the way. It gets in the vision of how you pick. That's why I've never bet. I don't bet at all. I just call it. And if I do that, then I actually call pretty decent. But the second you start introducing spreads and money into it, then my brain, 404 errors, like Don's blue screen.
I just blame my wife all weekend for my problems. So she left and ran to the store at halftime of the Packers game, which they came out after halftime and looked like dog shit.
Yeah.
That's why I picked the Giants.
Same.
She was upstairs playing with the kids during the race, and Chase Elliott was leading, and she came downstairs right towards the end of the race, and he wrecks the fuck out. So I'm like, you need to pick what you want to do and stay there the entire time.
This is actually my first year for fantasy football and actually going to a football game. And it turns out I didn't even know it till like third quarter, but we're playing the Chargers Chiefs, and I have the Chargers quarterback on my team. So I'm here and I'm with my wife's boss, and he's a huge Chargers fan. And I'm just doing what KC does, and it's just talk shit on the other team like the whole time. And then but I'm just beating everybody down as far as fantasy football goes, like, or at least the guy I'm going up against. Like, I'm smoking this guy. I was like, why does that guy's name sound so familiar? And then I realized, like, oh crap, I need him to score something. Like, I need it. So about the third quarter, I was like rooting for the other team. I was like, yeah, just lob that thing 90 yards, whatever it takes to win points in fantasy football. Because I still don't know yet, but I needed him to do it.
It focuses you, I guess.
That is too funny. All right, guys. So let's get into it a little bit. I want to get right into this PayPal issue because Tamp was on fire with this. Almost to the point to where it made me chuckle a little bit because when Tamp gets fired up, I don't know what it is about her getting fired up that makes me laugh. Even if it's something like I agree with or whatever, it's just something that makes me laugh. So Tamp,
delete.
I literally deleted my PayPal this morning. The whole account is gone.
Yeah.
Yes,
Crossed the line.
that was part of our pre-production meeting. Was Tamp deleting her PayPal?
Yes, I prefer not to live in George Orwell's 1984 novel in real life, so I deleted PayPal.
So what happened? Anyone has a screenshot?
Yeah, here you go.
Oh yeah. So all the screenshots you're going to see today are of them withdrawing their updated terms that they put out over the weekend that were supposed to go into effect in November. But basically, PayPal put up new terms of agreement that said anyone, like most of it was just normal stuff. And then there was this clause in there that stated that they would target anybody who was sending, posting, or publishing any messages on the internet or anywhere, any materials that promoted misinformation. Okay. How would they, what would they do if they targeted you for misinformation? Oh, they would deduct $2,500 from your PayPal account if they found you in violation of spreading misinformation. Bitch, yes. What? You're going to do what? So now, not only are you just going to determine what the hell is misinformation, you are now the ultimate authority on every topic in the world. Is that what it is now? PayPal's got the expert of every topic in the whole world sitting in a cubicle, deciding whether or not one of their users is posting something deemed misinformative. Bitch, please get out of here. And so you're going to just deduct $2,500 from my PayPal account. Okay, what if I only had $50 in my PayPal account and then I said something misinformative? What, are you going to go into my bank account now? Into my actual bank? You're going to bypass the whole PayPal platform, go into my bank account and take $2,500 out? Kiss my ass. I deleted the app immediately. I mean, Brad will tell you, you have Elon Musk, you have all kind of people coming out basically saying, you're dumb.
Yeah. Go ahead, Don.
And what is misinformation? That's such a great line too. You know, like
it's very vague.
It determines it.
Yeah,
it's very vague. Here's the kind of some of the comments coming out from the former CEO David Marcus said on Twitter that the new policy goes against everything I believe in. Elon Musk also agrees with that, and I know that Don had something to say. So go ahead, Don. Were we gonna comment on this?
I don't know if it's anything valuable. It's funny enough because I actually made a comment like this of anybody who's online spreading this should just get fined, and I bet people will stop. But then it's just the idea of, you know,
well done, Don.
What's that?
Well done, Don.
Yeah, but I there's a very clear like situation with that though. Like I even said it on that stream. I remember saying exactly that, but it's just, who's in charge of misinformation? Because I get if it's just blatant, but then at what point? Because I think that would help people like stop posting stuff you have no idea what you're talking about, or if you didn't even read, you didn't do, like most people just see that and share it like a little mindless drone, and I do hate that aspect. But the whole like I feel like this is going to turn very Twitterish, you know, because Twitter is so far left, and I don't know if it's true or not, but then there's what did Elon actually say? DWAC or True Social should be called Trumpet. He said it's a far right echo chamber and it should be called Trumpet. And you know,
everything started melting immediately.
and that's true because like those both those platforms are very, you know who your audience is. Like so who's in charge of the misinformation there? Like I don't know if you can get to a perfect world where people just aren't stupid anymore.
Yeah. But, and the fact that they can actually reach out to your own value, like reach out and take it from you just because it's something that they don't agree with or is misinformed. I mean, we've experienced in YouTube era the shadow banning. So they'll ban you outright, or they'll shadow ban you where none of your voice gets out. But now they're reaching out to your pocketbook. So it's it's not a pretty picture. So I do agree with you, Tamp, and I will be yanking mine. I just got to make sure everything else I have already active in there goes away. I poured it safely elsewhere.
And
I
that's
want to know if the
probably
determiner works on commission.
yeah, no doubt. That would
I'll
be a
take that
conflict of
job. I mean,
interest.
I could find a lot of misinformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you mean
You know?
stuff you don't agree with?
Yeah.
Nah. 2,500.
Exactly. Are you kidding me? But I mean, they would be the first private company to ever enact anything like this. And as such, they are now crawfishing right and left because the backlash of this announcement over the weekend was severe. I mean, like you said, I am one of, I'm sure, thousands of people who deactivated not only my personal PayPal account, but I also deactivated my business account as well. So they lost 2 from me, and by no means am I a whale or anything, but this is the power that I have as a consumer, to either stand for something that a company that I work with, I can either stand behind them, whether I agree with them or not, and on this one, this is way, way, way too much power. You have no business going into this. I mean, this was a major, major issue for me. You will not deem me appropriate or inappropriate PayPal. I'll leave my parents to that. I'll leave my own morality to that. It's certainly not going to be you, PayPal, at all.
Yeah. What happened to free speech,
Exactly.
That is true. Like,
it's free if you agree with me.
Illegal.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody even said it too. They brought up a Benjamin Franklin quote that said, "It is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority." So, this is a topic that's been around for ages, right? It's just new people trying to get into power. I would have loved to be a fly in that boardroom meeting where they said, "Hey, here's an idea. Let's get into the misinformation game and tell people we'll fine them if they say something we don't agree with." Oh, wow. How much are we going to fine them? $100, $2,500. Who thought this was a good idea? This is like these dumbass commercials that come out all the time. And you sit there after the 15 or 30 seconds you watch it and you're like, who the fuck approved this? Who was in the meeting that said this shit right here was a good idea? Right. And it's even just that thought process that PayPal was actually able to meet, agree upon, and then release to the public something so asinine that in and of itself, whether I agree with it or not, is enough to make me bounce as a consumer. Like, I don't know what kind of think tank you guys have going on, but regardless of topics, kiss my ass. I mean, it's just too much. And deleted. It's gone completely. I transferred. I had $3 sitting in PayPal. It's out.
We witnessed it, guys. We witnessed the action.
It was about to be a negative $24.97.
Gone pecan. And this type of shit right here is what made me get into cryptocurrency in the first place. It's the thing that when I had never even heard of Bitcoin, but when I finally did, I was like, what is that? And I started researching it. Next thing you know, I start learning about money and the history of money and what money is and what makes money, good money, bad money, or why does it keep changing from shells to metals to dollars? What the hell is all this? And then I figured it out. Now it's like, you're enlightened, and anything like this that, infringes on civil liberties, again, there you go, right there, all the way. Just that's it. And this is just something that now that I'm in crypto, I understand this is not okay on so many levels. Got rid of it. Bye.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you eat that adult meal, Happy Meal.
Yes.
You get 4 eyes, you make stupid decisions like this. Like, you think this is a good idea.
Because it is poison.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This is probably going to be a topic that we continue to talk about, as it is pretty breaking just this morning or over the weekend, I should say. But let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here. And this is probably going to be one more geared towards Jaime. I ended up bringing this to the table, but the biggest mining difficulty spike in 14 months took place over the weekend, or last week, I should say. Bitcoin begins a new week, still under 20,000, but just barely, not too much of a move down, but it's sitting at $19,300 per Bitcoin. Move has been long in the making. This is according to an article from FX Street. It says this week That might all change. The list of economic data prints due in the coming days is impressive, while geopolitical instability is gathering momentum in Europe as the conflict between Russia and Ukraine escalates. At the same time, Bitcoin is due to show its bear market intentions as the time nears where historically macro price bottoms are formed. It's interesting that they brought this up because when you look at the price of Bitcoin and how it compares to the market, we saw that Bitcoin had been following, almost mirroring the Nasdaq for the better part of 18 months up until September, and then it started to kind of diverge from the rest of the market, and now it's kind of moving a little bit differently than it had before. And I'm just curious fundamentally. Obviously, we know that some of the risks that are involved with the market overall, and Bitcoin's not immune to that. But I guess, point I wanted to make, or conversation I wanted to start, was, could this be a potential time in which we finally start to see more people gravitate towards Bitcoin because they're actually starting to realize this is a safe haven to park your money, or safer haven to park your money? Or is this just a small blip on the radar that maybe we shouldn't read too much into this, and it's not going to matter a whole lot a month or two from now?
So one thing, sorry, Greg, go for it.
Go ahead, Jaime, and I'll follow you.
I'll keep it really brief because Greg's in it in terms of the production. But the experts are never wrong, guys. They just lie to you. All right. when they say that the Bitcoin's going to shit, the market's going to shit, or no one's paying attention to Bitcoin anymore, this hash rate increase is showing everyone the opposite. What the increase of hash rate difficulty means is there are more miners online. The world are launching miners to support the network globally. That's a bullish signal. Doesn't mean the market won't do a capitulation, or the market will do what it does. But in terms of the people launching the miners or deploying miners, it's a clear sign that they're looking towards the future, and the future is not without Bitcoin. Is bottom line, my 2 cents on that.
So I agree with you, Jaime. What I'm looking for and or it's going to find interesting is as the difficulty rate goes up, the cost to mine one Bitcoin raises as well, right? So if we see a drop to the 1800s, 1700s of Bitcoin, what miner capitulation are we going to see at that point in time? And that would necessitate another drop in difficulty if we have a large capitulation go on. So I'm going to be watching that. Right now the difficulties as of today is its largest ever. And that means, point blank, there are more machines online than ever before, period. That's exactly what it means. That's the correlation. So who are we going to see fall out of this if Bitcoin takes a dive a little bit lower, right? Because, everybody was talking earlier this year in June that an 18.5 Bitcoin price at the difficulty levels, then you had miners shutting off. So now it's even harder. So does that mean it's 1900 now? What is that number now that we're going to see miners start shutting off?
Absolutely. And if you think about it, that drop of hash rate was when China banned, and a lot of the miners left China. They started going elsewhere. Over at MetaFi, we kept getting calls from other mining facilities because the community, although it's a global community, it's a small community. Like almost everyone knows Ji Hanwoo and all these other big players in there. And we started getting offers from mining facilities that were shutting their miners down. This increase in hash rate, all it means is those ASICs that were sold, those miners that were sold in distress, were purchased by someone else. And you're seeing all these institutions raising capital to buy ASICs now. Well, what you're seeing now with the increase of hash rate is they have bought, and now they're putting it back online to mint, to continue securing the network and processing Bitcoin transactions globally. So you're right, Greg. when this capitulation comes, the price of the miners usually drops. We're down at the 20 percentile price that we saw at $65,000. We're there now. And usually when the capitulation comes or a drop, the hash rate will drop because there's others shutting down. But what does that mean? Do they shut them down eternally? No, it's too profitable to shut down. They just can't afford it. They're upside down on their leverage. So they'll sell it to recover capital to pay their liens on their equipment. So it's just a transfer of wealth in that instance. The transfer of miners is what's going to happen. And right now with this increase, it's just showing you someone else bought them and they're lighting them up now.
So with the halving coming up in 2024, I mean, essentially the difficulty doubles in one day, right? Mm-hmm. If 18.5, 19 is the level today to run a profitable mining operation, then, you know, simple math calculus says that we should be around 40,000 at least in 2024. So there's room for it to go up, and it's got to go up. Otherwise it's not profitable.
Absolutely. And this has happened in all previous cycles too. So this is normal. It's not something new when it comes to this. And the players know this. That's why you see this type of movement.
Yeah, and I just want to add on to that. Don, I think you have something to say. I definitely want to hear that. But since you brought up the halving, in this article that we're referencing, this chart right here is something that I really took a look at because this is a halving chart. And for those of you who don't know, it's written into Bitcoin's code that every 4 years, the reward that you are given for effectively mining and securing a block that's paid in Bitcoin, every 4 years, that reward is cut in half. And with that halving cycle comes just some history that we can look at. And so a lot of people are saying, well, why do you keep saying that we're still in a bear market? Or when do you think we get it all the time? When is Bitcoin going to go back up? And we keep saying in the neighborhood, we believe of about, early to mid Q1 of 2023. We say that because this chart right here, it does a great job of giving you a graphic of that, where you can see where you have the halvings, through these vertical lines. And then you have a period of growth based here in green, and then in maroon, basically a period of some sideways action. And then you have in this gold, like a bull run that comes up. And if you look right here, especially at the maroon areas, which is where we are now in the maroon bear market, we had 680 days after the first halving, then 475 days in the middle. And now here we are with, leading up into our fourth halving, we're at 341 days. So we still have some time to go. But if you're looking from this first 679 to this 475, right now we're at 341 days in the bear market. So we keep saying the bull run will start early, sometime quarter one of 2023, because that puts us in line with some of these other halvings right here, which is all directly related with hash rate as well. So you give us another 100 to 120 days, boom, we're right in the middle of quarter one next year, and back on track with what we're looking at, from a corporate standpoint.
Absolutely. And a little clarification there is we'll have the bull runs, and you'll see those usually take off, begin actual launch right after the halving. You start seeing that rise of the Bitcoin price. Then the bear market, which is what we were calling for back in April internally, and then we went public with it on the external, but all using metrics history, Bitcoin's historical pricing. This bear market, according to all Bitcoin's past history, is scheduled to last up until November of this year. Then comes a period, which is that golden area that Tamp was mentioning, which is the discovery phase. It's where Bitcoin and the crypto market starts looking for its footing to now level set and then begin its preparation for the halving. It's usually shows a sign of growth in the market itself, and where a lot of the investors start positioning themselves within the crypto industry. Of course, with Bitcoin being the leader in this industry, the sea that rises all ships. So we are on schedule, guys. It's just a matter of maybe 2 months before you start seeing. And what a coincidence that we have primaries, we have elections, we have the situation in Europe, we have winter. There's quite a few things lining up to the timing of where Bitcoin starts finding its footing. And the hash rate's going up, showing that the industry itself is preparing for the level set to restabilize and start growing again.
All good stuff with this, and which kind of ties into the next topic that I was going to bring up as well, which is this. There's an article here by investing.com that's titled "This is why Bitcoin will never touch 10K," and I think it has the premise of the article here, and I'll share this with you guys as well. But the premise is one of the big reasons why they don't think it's going to go to 10K is because everybody's talking about it going to 10K, and there is something to this, right? I mean, we look at Dogecoin, for example. Everybody thought it was going to go to $1, and it was kind of like, well, if it's going to go to $1, who's going to buy it at 99 cents, and who's going to get it to that $1? And I think that's kind of the same thing that can be said when it's going the other direction. So income sharks and market analysts contended that if the majority of the crypto community agrees that it would go to that they would buy Bitcoin at 10,000, that is in fact a strong indication that Bitcoin would actually never get there. And we've talked about 13,800 for quite a while as a potential bottom for this. So that seems to be an area that also is getting louder and louder as far as where Bitcoin could go to. But what are your thoughts on this? This little bit of a psychological game. I know that Tamp and Don have a friendly wager on where Bitcoin's actually going to be going. Don thinking that it's going to get to 10K, but if this narrative continues to get louder and louder, there's that psychological element to it, right? You know, you have Jack Dorsey, who bought a shit ton of Bitcoin at 10K. He 2 years ago, he bought 4,709 units of Bitcoin for 10K each. Obviously, he's not going to be getting rid of his anytime soon either. So, is there that psychological part that actually, could mean that it never even gets to 10K? What's going to get it to 10K? Or is there nothing to this at all? Was this just like a worthless opinion to have?
Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, Don. You got the lower wage.
I don't know if it's worthless. I mean, there's a reason I'm buying more at 14,000. I think that 10,000, it just doubles as just a huge psychological level. Mm-hmm. And now there is always two sides to the coin. So for everyone thinking like, I'll just get in early, I'll get in at 13. It's only going to drop to 10, then turn back. I'll just get in now while I'm here. There's everyone that's thinking, why buy it at 13 when I could get it at 10? So there's always two sides to the coin. And a lot of people, they really think they have a plan until they see that red candle. And since we are dealing with mostly, I would say, retail in this world, it's easy to play on emotions, and everyone thinks they're going to do well when it's sideways. But everyone quickly forgets what they had going on when things start to get volatile again. And I think it's easy for people to just get complacent with Bitcoin being sideways right now. So maybe that's what leads to this. But I do think with the amount of buy orders and attention there at that 10K level, 11 will be close enough. And just that in itself is going to keep it off of there. You would need an actual dump and fear. If it gets below 10K, that's where I would be worried, because of the amount of people wanting to get in at 10. If they find out that's not the bottom, do they just quickly get right back out? People that thought 10 was going to be the bottom, do they just get out? Right. I don't believe it goes below there, but that's where some tricky games could be played. If anyone was to dump it, that would get some people out real quick. That's called a stock hunt in the stock world.
Absolutely. And that's where the liquidity is. That's where people get out of their positions usually, and then they're left with nothing as the market corrects, is the theory, of course. But like Don said, until you see that opening bell, I'm hungry. Let's go. Don, how's it looking? How's the market looking? How's the futures?
Philip just said this in the chat, and I just said it in my chat coincidentally. Ford gapped down and sold off like like they all broke down or something. Like, I don't know what's going on with it. It's not looking good. Everything else is
Did you hear that Russia just launched missiles over to Kiev and hit the German consulate?
That was earlier this morning.
Yeah, I did not see that.
Yeah,
so they're expecting another round.
Yep.
As long as they aren't equipped with radiation, doesn't look like the markets care so far.
No,
we opened up red, and right now we got a little bit of a green push.
Yeah.
Which I got to say on a quick note, something I went over yesterday. I think Goldman Sachs put out a report about signs of capitulation. I didn't read, but I probably need to. There has been just very much a lack of buyers in this market. And you know, like I tell you guys, when there's more buyers, it goes up, more sellers, it goes down. Like that's in any case, no buyers is automatically more sellers. And everyone's got their pain point, and things are already down. I wonder how much further we need to go before everyone does click the F it button and just get out. And that's where you will see capitulation, because right now there's articles saying retail hasn't sold yet. And I'm curious, are we about to find out, or are these like some AMC crowd where down 20% means nothing? They're used to down 90%. Like they can hang the S&P down to $50 before they sell.
Where do you think those sellers go? If they say screw it and they say sell, where do they go?
They leave.
They just cash out and out of the market completely.
Yeah, and I think that's what fuels the whole, you know, that 95% fail statistic. They come in, they try one time, they don't do anything else, but it doesn't pan out. Or maybe they go on a lucky streak and then they fail. But once they're done, and then they just come in and leave. And I think there's a huge crowd of that. And you know, banks do a really good job of putting out commercials. They call it getting fresh money in the market. It's why E-Trade has the talking babies. It gets you in here. It gets you know, all it is big bank takes the little bank. It's just money being moved around. So they'll probably just have to do a whole another wave of that. But that's how they keep it coming back in, because they'll just leave, roll out, and then that's part of the statistic of why you need someone else, because you just didn't know what you're doing in the first place.
Yeah. Market makers need the liquidity, and those are the guys. That's the people on the playing board. Yeah. Bob, you're right. Thick skin's necessary for this type of gain, or having experienced it and not let go. Don, you mentioned a good point. A lot of people just jump in. Oh, I can do this. Everyone remembers our friend, damn it, from Portnoy.
Portnoy.
Remember, he's like, we can do this. This is fucking easy. And then, poor guy.
He coined the term. Stocks only go up, and then everybody followed suit.
Everybody's a genius in a bull market. Everybody.
Yeah. Everyone's a guru. Well, we've been in one for over a decade, you know, up until just recently. So a lot of people are just now figuring this out.
And that's what blows my mind. I mention it to Brad every time I'm sitting next to him. Like I can't believe most people ignore the stock markets during this time. Yeah, this is the time to get in. This is the time to where you lay your seeds for spring. Everyone's throwing away their seeds or eating their seeds instead of trying to build for your new crop in the future. So, guys, blood's on the street. Come on, let's build now.
Right.
Yeah, I would say this is the most important time to I think you see all these markets again. So as a trader, you know, I like watching them all because characteristically things just change. So I have to deploy just different measures, just like a mechanic has a wrench, a screwdriver, a socket. It's just like, I got to use this tool right now. But you'll see all these again. And when it comes back around, you'll be all too familiar with it. You'll know how to attack it, where to deploy your money. You know, it's not, I don't want to say it's easy because I don't want to give that false impression, but it's very repetitive. Like it is, there's only two outcomes, guys. It's red and green candles. It's going to go up or it's going to go down. Like there's no need to overthink it. It's going to go up a lot. It's going to go up a little, like, or down a lot, down a little. And as long as you have that plan and really be ready for the what, just answer all the what if scenarios before you click the buy button.
Right.
And then there really is no anxiety to it, like at all.
Absolutely. Like we've spoken in the past, if you're not comfortable trading the market, dollar cost average. If you know that in general, we are at the bottom of the market or near the bottom, let's say, even if it drops another 50% to the 13,800, 10,000, wherever we end up at, it's still, when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's still near the bottom. So now's the time to engage when everyone's, hey, it's a bull run. This is going to $1 million. That's when you start, okay, let me get out a little bit or cash out or lock in some profits in there. But even on this, and catching, I'm not for catching falling knives, but like Don has, there's zones, there's areas where we see the probabilities of where things could hit. So you just split it. You don't put your whole buy into one spot. You just break it down into pieces so where you're not completely out of cash or overexposed if it does not meet or stay where we expect it to stay.
Right.
Yeah. Just have a plan just have your plan, your exit strategy before you get in. Like, I hope every one of mine's the bottom, and I hope every one of them goes to 100,000 like AMC. It just hasn't panned out yet, but one of these days I'm going to get lucky. Stocks can go to 100 grand, like I hope so at least. But I have like an exit strategy for everything. Like, all right, like if it hits this, clearly I was wrong. It's just I get out, like plain and simple. Like there's just nothing. There's nothing to that part. And like the easiest thing for risk management that people fail the most at is how to do it properly. Like, you're going to get in here, whatever. Here's your realistic where I'm getting out. Like, not I'm going to psychologically get out, not I'm going to check it out. Here is my cold cut. Like, I am exiting the market at this level. If that's $10 per share, per difference, whatever it is, whatever unit you're buying, that's $10. If you only want to risk $100, you only buy 10 of those. Like, you structure your allocation inside those two numbers. Most people get that completely backwards. They have no idea what they're doing, and that's why they fail. And they basically just roll the dice, and I'm only going to sell when it's green, which is never a plan, and they don't even know why they're losing yet. But the red candle shows up. It was never realistic, and then all of a sudden they're losing more than they even thought they could, and then they do panic. Now emotions have taken over, and it's just destroying you. But if you just use that metric and like, all right, this is the bottom or it's not. If it's not, I know I'm losing this much. If it is, then I'm on the gain train. Like, those are your only two options. It takes emotions clearly off the board. And as long as you're realistic with all your expectations, like, all of this gets very repetitive. And I'm just going to say it again. It's very easy. I hate saying easy, but okay, what's another word for that? Like,
the principles are there. I mean, it's like math. 1 + 1 is 2. So if you know this is your level and you can only lose this much. In other words, and it's, yeah.
Well, it's just maybe just a change of thought, right? Instead of getting into any market to maximize your gains, instead get in the market to minimize your losses and to preserve capital. So if you look at those, my whole point is to preserve capital. And in order to do that, I'm going to minimize my loss. If you take the green candles out of it completely, then it might help just start that step one mental change on how you look at a chart or how you look at a team that you're maybe looking to put some money into, how you look at a bear market versus a bull market. Start looking at it as the end game is capital. I want to minimize losses to maintain said capital. The end. Take the wins out of it.
Yep. Yeah. And be aware of where we're at the market to make that call. So if we're near the bottom, then that's when you start accumulating. If we're near the top, where everyone's absolutely excited and $1 million is inevitable, that's when you start taking profits.
Yep.
Yeah. Plus, Tam nailed it right there. I've said it before, I'm a professional at losing. I am so consistent. I know all my losers. They're all the same. They're the same amount. The same everything. The winners are the ones that surprise you because you're just trailing and then you're on the gain train. They're much bigger than your sorry, I can't talk. They're much bigger than your losers. But yeah, master that aspect, and then you're pro. Most of you guys are professional at losing, or not most of you guys, but just because you've done it a lot. But they say practice makes perfect, and that's not the case. It's perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice at sucking a whole bunch, and you'll just be really good at sucking. Nothing changes. But like, find someone that does know what they're talking about and borrow from their experience.
And they're willing to teach you.
Mm-hmm.
Even you, Don, you have you teach people to do this, right?
Yeah.
So Don Fran Show, everyone.
Yeah, go check him out on YouTube at Don Fran Show. I wanted to address one of the comments here. Somebody was asking about Dave Portnoy, but it wasn't Dave Portnoy. Here we go. Bob was asking about Dave Portnoy. Bought an NFT for $3 million. Isn't it worth 10? Slightly different. Slightly different. So it wasn't Dave Portnoy. It was Logan Paul. Yes. He bought an NFT for $623,000 in 2021, and today it's worth $10. I didn't have a specific WTF moment for the day, but I feel like that one is definitely it. We just got done talking about an NFT that was purchased for $3 million. What, 2 weeks ago, Jaime? I think you and I both talked about this on our stream on the show. And then you have something like this. It's just, you want to talk about risk in the markets. I feel like this is the riskiest one of them all, is NFTs right now. I can't wrap my head around which ones are worth a damn and which ones aren't. And it seems as if Logan Paul doesn't either.
Yeah. Hey, how many invested in the sock puppet? If you guys were old enough to remember that in the .com era.
Yeah.
Damn, that was cute. And everyone threw their money. VCs threw their money at it. And damn, it folded within a year.
Right.
Even got a Super Bowl ad.
So the one perk to this is Brad and I used to be in another group, and there was a saying he would say, and let me get you guys excited with this, is look at the margin it created. If it heads back to that, that's the greatest risk to reward ever. Risk $10, you could sell it for $600,000.
And the crypto chimes in, says the Paul brothers are major scammers. Are they, or are they just really good at marketing?
Both. They are. They're just like the Kardashians. They're getting in trouble as well for. You guys did that article on the Kim Kardashian because she didn't say it was an ad, but no, the brothers are in the same thing, same boat, because they didn't tell people that they were getting paid to push a certain crypto, and they're getting fined.
And NFTs, like I love that Don just said that, because NFTs values are derived from the community that believes in the value. And that's a very weak, sandy foundation, but it doesn't make it not true. So if you hold a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, the only reason that is still valuable is because there's a community of people that do things that highlight, this kind of access secret squirrel type of lifestyle. And there's still enough people that value that to have the actual NFTs hold value. It seems as though Logan Paul and these people wanted to do a same type of community build behind whatever NFT this was that went to zero, but the community wasn't there to uphold that price. So you have to look, especially when it comes to NFTs today, what is the inherent value and who all believes in that value? Because NFTs are simply an agreement that this particular piece of artwork or whatever has value to enough people to uphold the price. So most of them do not at this stage. So,
and situations like these are very common with new industries. We saw it, we've seen it in every single industry. Something new comes up, there's high speculation in it. I got the diamond here. I have the future in my hands, but the market will tell you if it's true or not.
Yeah. And and you look at the Kardashians, when they first started doing their thing, everybody thought they were probably scams too, or who in the world would want to watch their life. And that ended up being a massive community. And it doesn't make the Kardashians scammers. They took a risk, but built a community around a huge group of people who wanted an inside look into a famous, billionaire's life, family's life. So it's not so much that they're scams, it's just there's a community there that supports it, right? So I would have never thought there would have been value in that, in the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And there's obviously massive value there because of the community behind it. It's the same type of thing.
Yeah, I have Indo Crypto continuing to chime in on this. He says that the Paul brothers left their communities all holding bags. But to my understanding, the Paul brothers were also holding the bags. I think it's different if they run away with the cash and it's like everybody else gets fucked. But I think, NFTs in general right now are still very much an experiment. I'm not trying to sit here and defend the Paul brothers, but at the same time, they are marketing geniuses, and they've done some really crazy things that have done some and not so great things either. I mean, let's not forget that Logan Paul and the whole Japan situation way back when. So, I think that there's some good and bad things, but I'm still trying to figure out, like, to me, and Indo Crypto would probably know better than all of us. I didn't see any specific rug pulls that the Paul brothers actually did. It was just that they had shitty projects or shitty NFTs. So that to me doesn't necessarily make it a scam. It just makes it that they were really bad at what they did from an NFT perspective and maybe didn't know what they were doing. And their community is going to follow them in everything that they do. And so at the end of the day,
push something.
What's that?
What about the getting paid to push something? Just like Kim, they got paid to push NFTs and cryptos. They didn't announce that they were getting paid. They said they're in it, they're holding it. Yeah, I don't know the numbers, but like, am I holding $100,000 worth of a crap crypto that someone just paid me $300,000 to talk about? Because at that point, I don't care if I'm holding it with everybody. Like, oh, I'm down with you too.
Yes. Yep. So I think that there's going to continue to be legislation and regulation around the NFT side of things. But right now, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, but right now NFTs are considered assets, so they don't have to disclose it like they would if it was a security. Is that correct?
It's a license to an asset, but all that's being defined at this moment. And keep in mind
but this is why the SEC hasn't gone after them or anybody else who's been into NFTs just yet, correct?
They have. The SEC has gone after the Paul brothers.
Yeah.
Over NFTs or other things?
Maybe it was just crypto.
Well, they haven't gotten to him yet.
Really? No, I could have sworn I saw them get fined. Same as Kim Kardashian. Same story.
I don't remember. Somebody find it. Somebody look it up. Somebody find it.
That's the only reason I even knew that much about the whole Kim Kardashian situation was because I was reading about it from the Paul brothers about not disclosing they were being paid to push that. And that being the actual issue is because they're not telling their followers, hey, I believe in this because somebody's cutting me a check. They're saying, hey, I believe in this, and then that's where the issue lies.
Yeah. And if you guys remember, Indo Crypto is in the rug pull, NFT rug pull industry itself. So he mentioned that he was referring to the NFT projects they create and they founded. LPR drained, and we have kept up with them. So rugpull.io, where Indo works at, they're the ones keeping track of all these NFT projects. So it'd be interesting if you guys join Discord to discuss it with Indo Crypto. All right, why do you say this, and where's the, so we can do a deep dive. Go ahead.
Yeah, and if that's true, just because Logan Paul bought an NFT that went basically from $600,000 to $10, and he didn't rug that way, if he or his constituents drained the LP pools or the liquid pools around those NFTs, they didn't necessarily he didn't rug the community by like he rugged the pool and let his NFT go from 600,000 to 10 and said, don't worry, I lost 2. It's not a rug. It is still a rug if he drained the LP pools. If that's in fact true, like Indo Crypto mentioned, then that's absolutely a rug, regardless of if he lost on his NFT value.
Can we address because I think this needs clarity. I'll pull it up here. James, he says, unless the artist cashed out, then their payment for their work also went from 600K to 10, both losers. How did I not cash out? If I sell you an NFT for 600,000, you just gave me 600,000. How did I not cash out on that?
If you didn't cash out, meaning you went and bought another NFT, or you didn't like take it out of that project.
Okay.
But
do you
you're
have
right.
a buyer? Because if you
Correct.
don't have a buyer, you have to go to the liquidity pool. And if the liquidity pool has enough to cover all that value and you drain that account, it doesn't matter if you're left holding the actual NFT, you still rugged the community. Because if I give you a $600,000 NFT, Don, yes, I just gave you that. But if you have nowhere to sell it, you really have $600,000 in value. I don't think so, because you don't have anywhere to sell it. So it's basically valueless at that point, regardless of what you tell me it's worth. Right, on paper, exactly. So he's not a loser if he pulled the pool.
Correct. And now from the artist perspective, which is what Jimmy James was speaking of, is me, the artist, I minted the NFT and I sold it for ETH, for example. And it was 600 ETH. The moment I sold it, I also have 5-10% residual. So when they resell it again, let's say the Paul brothers sell this one for $10, he'll get a slight percentage of that $10. But me, the artist who minted it, and Paul bought it, then at that point, it was my choice as an artist to convert the ETH over to something else. Let's say cash it out in Coinbase, and now I pay my taxes and do everything else. So Don, that's the moment the artist does win. Now, if Paul himself was the artist and sold it to himself or his, that's another game altogether.
Yeah, this is very interesting. This is a topic that I had not expected to cover today, but I'm glad we did. This is going to make for an excellent clip as well, by the way. But
did you get my good side?
But I don't. Yeah, this is going to be something that, as I continue to learn more about NFTs and rug pulls and that sort of thing, that I'm going to, I guess, get a better grasp on. But I certainly appreciate you guys bringing it to the table. And this is our community that brought this to the table today. This has been a great topic that I think we're going to get into more of later in the week. And we have actually other topics that we're going to get to as well. But I believe we're going to be running out of time if we get into the next one. More. You want one more? Which one do you want?
Why not? Pick one. Hang on, what were they?
You have one. I thought you had one specifically. I was like, all right, let's go, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just send him another one. Let's go with beer. Talk about that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. This actually is important.
It is important, and now
I brings everyone together.
Can somebody pull that up, because I lost the article and now I'm out of Discord. So yeah, beer is apparently recession resistant, according to the CEO of Constellation Brands. If you guys aren't familiar with Constellation Brands, they have several different types of brands. Most notable is Corona and Modelo. And the CEO was talking about how consumer demand has still been very strong. They're quoted as saying that we have the benefit of this industry. In this category of being somewhat recession resistant, and we have seen no slowdown at consumer level of purchasing against our brands. The Constellation's beer business, led by brands Corona, Modelo, and Pacifico, outshined its wine business handily in the most recent quarter. I thought that was interesting, because I was under the impression that all alcohol-related products were recession resistant, but somehow it's beer over wine and probably even liquors. I'm assuming this is probably because beer is the cheapest of the three.
And it's well
so I would
stand out to you. Clearly. I say clearly, I know the reason stands out. It's like clear night and day. You're drinking wine, right? And recession's coming. So you put your pinky down. You're like, all right, I'm going to stop this. I start drinking out of a boxed wine, which we all know is crap. It's a bad headache. Or I got to switch to beer. So I think that's what's going on. Like the people that are in the markets, they were drinking wine. They're like, I got to buckle down. Where beer is like, I'm going to drink it if I'm depressed. I'm going to drink it if I'm partying. I'm just going to drink it because alcoholism runs the world just like tobacco. Like it is just, that's got to be the recession-proof part.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, you could just buy Franzia.
I think they all are.
No.
It's just beer's the highest performing out of the mix.
And it's distributed everywhere. You don't see wine in a gas station as you do beer. For example.
Depends on what gas station you go to.
Yes, that's true.
You're in Texas, Jaime. There's beer and wine and everywhere you stop, literally.
But look at the volume and difference, though. Like, and just sit there and watch the crowds walk in. They go straight for their cases. Like, you don't see them picking the pinky wine.
That's because the cases are cold. You know, who wants wine?
That's it. So it's just better presented, better. It's easier to get into your gut and do away with the numb your pain. You know, it's the easiest bullet to pull.
I guess that's why it remains recession proof. We're getting hammered. It's a bunch of calories, cheap. They're like MREs for the military, but for
I wonder where weed stacks up in this.
Oh yeah, what do you think, Tamp? How are things doing now?
Yeah, especially after Biden's announcement.
Yeah, it's increasing, and I think it's mainly because everybody knows beer. I mean, beer's been around literally forever, from mead to beer, and people are starting to understand how cannabis fits into their own lives and what they can use it for, what they shouldn't use it for. It's a learning curve, just like alcohol. You might be able to have one or two and still function, but you experiment and you realize maybe after 6, 8, or 12, you shouldn't be doing certain things. So as people figure out where cannabis fits into their lives, they're using it a lot more now. You see it a lot. I have people come in the store all the time that say they don't even drink anymore just because cannabis does better for them what they need, whether it's sleep or relaxation or anything of the sort.
I hope that does pick up, but I'm taking the opposite end of most people. Everyone loves this whole cannabis getting legal because they think it's just going to be booming. And like, the one thing beer and cigarettes has going for it is nicotine and alcoholism. Like, weed just doesn't have those addictive properties,
right?
You know, like so. Does it get as big as, like, I don't know. I get why people compare it, but I also don't get why you would compare weed to anything else, because it again, like, cigarettes do literally nothing good for you, like literally nothing, and they make so much money off it, and they know you're going to feel it. The cigarette companies are the ones that even pay for the commercials that say don't buy our stuff, and everyone's like, I gotta go get a pack right now.
Yeah, I know what you mean, that it doesn't do anything for you, meaning doesn't do anything healthy for you. It absolutely does give people a little kick. It absolutely does calm people down, even if it's just a phallic response by the actual smoking of the cigarette. So it does do something for people who smoke, but I understand it is absolutely addictive.
But it's only calming down their nerves that are fired up in the first place from them smoking. Like, it created and solved the problem.
Right. And that's the addictive nature of it, where even if they want to get rid of it, they can't. Weed does not fall in that same category. And you'll hear all kinds of people say otherwise. And I mean, to each his own. I'm not here to tell you what you have or have not experienced. But as far as we know, and myself being a user, it is not addictive whatsoever. But the medicinal properties of it are undeniable. And the immediate symptoms of it are amazing, depending on what you want. If you want to calm down, if you want to sleep, that sort of thing, there's very little that does it better. Ambien doesn't do it better. Benadryl doesn't do it better, because you wake up groggy and weird and you don't like it. You take a little THC before bed and you wake up like a fully charged battery. You just get up and you're like, damn, I slept good. Let's go. I mean, it's literally that easy. Good luck with doing that with alcohol.
Yeah. Unless if you want to wake up in a field.
Yeah. Or knowing you're going to be seriously hurting. Like, how many times have you gotten hammered and be like, oh, I'm not looking forward to waking up in the morning.
Brad just gave a look like he was having flashbacks.
Yeah, that is Brad this morning.
Yeah. I'm dragging ass. I'm surprised my voice is still working as well as it is. All right. Before we get into birthdays, I want to invite everybody to go check out our Discord. The link is in the description and is also in the chat. I just I didn't end up doing it. It's been there all stream long. If you guys didn't check out the link that is attached to the chat, if you're in the live stream right now, go check it out. It's absolutely free to be a part of our Discord group. We'd love to have you guys there to chat about whatever, any of the topics that we discussed today and beyond. We'd love to have you guys in our Discord. So go check out the DC Discord this morning. Mario Lopez is 48. AC Slater is 48 years old. I can't believe that. Brett Favre is 52. We also have Dale Earnhardt. Right? What's that?
Brett Favre, not a good topic right now.
Yeah, that's not a good topic.
Well, whatever. He's 52. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 47. David Lee Roth is 67. And then we have none other than Venus Lux, who is 32. She actually, I don't know, she or he has been in various titles such as American Shemale 3, An Officer and a Shemale, Balls in Chains, Door to Door Sales Whore, and Granny Loving Transsexuals. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in this morning. We certainly appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We'll be back here at 9 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow to do it all over again. Have yourself a wonderful day. Keep calm and huddle on.
You're a sick man, Brad.